Alright, we just started pre-production on a new sci-fi short called The Infected. Now the foundation of every movie is the script. It's the thing that I'm going to constantly refer back to throughout the course of making the movie. It's the bedrock that you build everything on top of. So let's talk about script writing. So every movie starts with an idea. Whether it's a character or a scene or a concept, there's a nugget at the center that you want to explore, an idea. The first thing you need to do is you need to take that idea and turn it into a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Who are we introduced to at the beginning? What happens to them? And how does the story conclude itself? That's like a basic story. For example, with The Infected, it was a world and characters that I had already built because I had made a movie with these characters in this world a few years ago called Scab. You can check out a link to Scab in the description for this video. So with The Infected, I wanted to take things further. There's a disease in Scab that I wanted to explore a bit more. That was kind of the idea or the nugget at the center. So then my question was, well, how do I explore this? How do I introduce these characters again? How do I explore this disease? Sort of what happens in the movie? I like to write stories that are character-based. That means that my central idea, whether it's prejudice or fear or death or whatever, it's embedded in these characters. And the story has to draw this idea out of the characters. That also means that I often write characters that are pitted against each other in order to draw this idea out. So once you have a story, you can do one of two things. You can either break the story down beat by beat and sort of see what happens minute 1, minute 2, minute 3, minute 4, or you can just start writing. Sometimes I like to break it down because I have a story that's pretty complex and I want to sort of strategize things. Other times I just want to write a story that feels authentic and it moves from moment to moment and I just start writing. There's no wrong way to go about it, but eventually you're going to have to start writing. I like to use the program Celtex. It's super easy to use, it's free to download, and it's properly formatted, but you can use any word processing software to write a script. I write a lot of drafts, and I constantly reassess as I'm writing. Is this saying what I want it to say? Is it interesting? Is it boring? Is it lagging? Is it going too quickly? But I write and I write and I write, and eventually I come up with the first draft of a script. I always hate the first draft of the script. It's got gaping holes, it's got bad dialogue points, it's ugly, but it's complete. It is a draft of the script. And from there, I'm able to see what my big problems are. Plot holes or inconsistencies in character or whatever. So what I do for my first draft is I take a look at the big holes and I fix them. In the case of The Infected, it was more about doability and accessibility. There were some set pieces that were just a bit too expensive and epic for me to be able to pull off. But the first draft is often pie in the sky and anything goes. So what I do is I read through the script knowing that I want to make it and I start thinking about how am I going to make it. I change dialogue too. The first draft is often really story-based, and in the second draft, I often like to write more jokes, and I give the script a little bit more latitude. I find the problems, and I fix them. By this time, my idea has probably changed. Maybe it's grown, maybe it's stayed the same, but I write a couple more drafts just for myself, fixing and tweaking all the problems that I can find. And eventually, I have a script that I'm happy with, something that resembles what I want. But I'm also too close to the script at this point, and I need some perspective. So this is the time that I decide to share the script with some people and get some feedback. When you share your script, it's still a delicate thing, but it's got to get tougher. So you want to share your script with a couple people that you can trust, people that understand your sensibility, they know what you're going for. Usually there's a lot of suggestions. This lags, this doesn't make any sense, why does this character say this thing, why does this happen? These suggestions show you what the script is doing well and what it's not doing well. With The Infected, I knew the world, the characters, and the story, so there weren't a lot of suggestions. But usually with newer or bigger ideas, there are a lot of suggestions and gaping holes, because I'm trying to do something new. So take the suggestions and do one big overhaul. Try to fix those gaping holes, those dialogue inconsistencies, everything. Do everything you can to address all of those problems and send it back to the same people. Usually they'll come back to you with a couple little notes and do a bit of a back and forth with these people, writing a few drafts until you have something that you're happy with and they're happy with. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. None of the scripts that I've written are perfect, but they are able to explore or capture that idea that I had at the beginning. If I've gotten this far with a script, it's usually an idea that I'm interested in enough that I want to spend the next year working on, because that's usually how long it takes me to make a movie. It's a long process, a few months of pre-production, a couple days of production, and a few months of post-production and marketing. So it has to be a script and a story that I'm interested in enough that I want to spend that amount of time working on and pushing. And that's how I feel about this new short, The Infected. It's a story that I like, it's characters that I like, and it's a world that I like. I'm excited to work on it over the next year, collaborate with others, get more voices involved, build on the foundation of the script that I've written. So to break it down, I basically come up with an idea, I turn that idea into a story with characters and plot, I write that story into a script, I share that script with some people that I trust, and then I write and I write and I write until I have the final draft of a script and I'm ready to start pre-production. And that's how I go about writing a script. Thanks for watching.